All right, we are on live. Um, I will take a look at a lot of if you guys have, if you guys have any chart requests here on TikTok, then go ahead and put those in the YouTube channel. That would help me out a lot. Um, bro, it's 5:30 a.m. It's 6 o'clock, or it's 8:30 here. So, yeah, I said all request on YouTube. On YouTube, so leave that in the YouTube comment section. Okay. All right, so good morning, YouTube. How's it going? Everybody else. I think most people are hopping on now. Let me go ahead and mark them live. Um,
AAPL expands organ health business with commercial lines of hospital lung transplant assessment test.
okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. All right, so we're going to go ahead and, as always, we're going to get started on the most important part of this, and that's our news and our data. We have a lot of data coming in here. Economic calendar. We have data coming out at 9:15 Eastern time, 10 o'clock Eastern time, and then obviously this is not so impactful, but also 4 o'clock Eastern time. Oh, excuse me. Ooh, we'll take a look at it. I'll give you guys my watch list. So right at the bat, we have basically a breaking point that we're reaching right now. The article headline here is basically saying enough is enough. The U.S. job market triggers strikes for more pay all across Hollywood, from camera operators to artists, plumbers, you name it. The range is rather wide. Unions going into work. So there's a lot of people just demanding higher pay at that point. So U.S. refiners also are set for higher earnings on fuel demand strike. So U.S. refiners are expected to show higher earnings for this third quarter as margins to sell gasoline and diesel have improved despite the surging cost of crude oil. Um, 5 U.S. lawmakers have accused Amazon of possibly lying to Congress. 5 members of the Judiciary Committee wrote Amazon chief executive on Sunday and accused the company's top executive, including founder Jeff Bezos, of either misleading Congress or possibly lying to it about the Amazon business practices. Um, so what what's going on here? Yeah, most of those people, don't worry about those people. They ask me all the time. Thank you though. Um, so we also have Apple. Apple is expected to unveil new Macs with more powerful chips. That's probably the main headline there for them. They need more chips too. Um, they're not the only one experiencing a shortage. So that sounds good, but it's also important to think about that inflation as well. That means that they're only stressing out their own supply, or their own um, semiconductor imports. So Exxon tells, besides that, Exxon is telling Texas refinery workers lockout will end if contract approved or union removed. So ExxonMobil on Sunday told workers at the Beaumont, Texas refinery their 6-month lockout will end if they ratify the company's contract offer and remove the U.S. Steelworkers Union as their representative. So all in all, U.S. stock futures were lower, tracking world shares after data showed slower than expected growth in China's economy last quarter, surging oil prices, Fed inflation concerns, rising inflation expectations, and higher U.S. bond yields boosted the dollar's appeal against rivals, while dulling demand for gold, which inched lower. Oil prices rose, buoyed by a recovering demand and high natural gas and coal prices, encouraging users to switch to fuel oil and diesel for power generation. So that's kind of the main swear down. Swear down. What are you talking about? Anyway, so that's some of your top headlines here. Again, I would like to we'll go over just a few more here. We do have Benzinga Pro going, so we're waiting for any news to come in that way. we did see, or we do know that we have industrial production again, that's coming in. So you may see movement on the Dow. Go back here. There we go. So we do see industrial production coming in today. Where are we at? We're lost. There we go. Okay, so capacity utilization, which is high impact, industrial production, also high impact. So these are things that, and this is kind of the week ahead of us. So I want to go ahead and last night I talked about this, and I want to go ahead and talk about it again, because obviously the first thing that people look at is the setups, right? This has a great setup. This has a gap to fill. Okay, what's the climate? How do we get there? What does it usually take to get a stock to get moving, big beta, or what else? Usually a decent market conditions or a lack of fear, a lack of, bad data. So more data, more volatility, right? And all of this data coming in every single day, there is at least one, except for Friday, there's at least one high impact data here. So, or at least one, yeah. So we have industrial production capacity utilization. Then we have housing starts and building permits tomorrow. Then we have EI crude inventories. That's every week. Then initial jobless claims, continuing claims. You also have existing home sales. And so that's all happening this week. And then on top of that, so another thing to look at is the earnings this week. So what's going to allow us the volatility? Real quick, if you guys are here on TikTok and you guys would like to send any type of message or interact with me or ask me questions, no matter what they are, please do that on the YouTube. The link is in my bio, along with everything else that I use. So TradingView, that's the chart system that you see here. This is briefing, or this is StockTwits. I have that as well, and Benzinga Pro, which is the scanner and news source that I use. So if you guys would like to, of course, hop on there. Um, Okay, so the earnings week that we have at the moment is boiling hot garbage in terms of increased volatility hopes. So right now, we have 8 companies reporting today, none of which are relatively, Alversons and Steel Dynamics. Then we have Netflix, but 38 companies, 76 companies, 94 companies, and then 18 companies. That's a rather lackluster earnings week. We got some big names, Tesla, of course, coming in here, Snapchat as well, and then Friday Cliff.
ASAX.
You better calm down.
Hotel plan that's a Alexa enabled booking feature.
What?
It's Apple standing Apple X-ray ASAX.
ASAX. Very illiquid stock there. Um. Anyway, so let's go back. Okay, so earnings this week not that great. There's a lot of data coming in, and I remember last week that we talked about picking our plays, being very. That's one of the things that we're going to be doing this week again. And I know it gets exhausting sometimes to hear me say, all right, well, this week I'm going to be using less position size, but that's discipline. You have to have discipline in this market to know when to size up or when to size down. And these are the type of days that if the economic data goes in our favor, then I adjust. But if it doesn't, I don't. But starting next week, we've got big earnings, 53 companies, basically a full send as far as big earnings is concerned. Visa, AMD, Microsoft, Twitter, Google, all of them. Earnings week starts next week, and that's when we're going to see a big pickup in volatility in all of these sectors. So that being said, I just want to give you guys the warning or pre-warning that we
$100 investment. My current shareholder, Whitehead Capital Partners, Charlie Mike Tango Lima, CMTL.
okay. Do you guys get that?
WTRH Waiter Holdings announcing a partnership with Olo, which is a leading on-demand commerce platform powering the restaurant industry's digital transformation. Its ticker Whiskey Tango Romeo Hotel, WTRH.
Somebody asked me about Waiter this weekend. Interesting. What broke up? Okay, so I'm about to go over our major indexes right now. So let's go ahead and let's just revisit our major indexes and take a look at what we got going on. So as far as the daily is concerned, you guys are well aware that everybody is well aware that we have the inverse head and shoulders. Sometimes when some things are so glaringly obvious, they become stupidly set up for a trap, or not even a trap, but potential pullbacks. So when you have this really, really bullish setup here with a gap right underneath you and a little bit of shakiness in the data points that are coming in, there is a potential that this space right here, my linear deviation line, right? So this space could end up being refuge for SPY. Now, obviously, this is an exaggeration as far as time wise. It's not going to take 2 weeks, but just for educational purposes, this is what I would be anticipating is a pullback and a bounce. So 442.50 is where this gap gets filled below us on SPY. You can see that and I talked about this, we have already gapped down. I really like gapping down, preferably because that is where we actually find ourselves being more. Gap ups to me are bearish, just like Manny says, and gap ups are gap downs are bullish. That gives you more room, and the momentum starts heading to the upside because you start going for the gap fill. Right now, we have just gapped down very little and already wicked up and retested that high. So at the moment, everything does look like it is going to go for that pullback with the first immediate target of 443. Do expect some sort of bounce there. But again, the daily gap on SPY is right here. And with the data that we have, it's going to be one of those things where do we really gap and go, or do we pull back like we see here in pre-market and immediately rip? That's the question that we're watching, or that we're asking ourselves today. And one of the things that I usually will see in SPY or any type of ETF, really any stock, is that lagging indicators like your most bullish moving indicator, like the 9-day moving average, at some point when you get too ahead of yourself, you're going to go back and you're going to retrace that very same mark. So that's what I would be, or that very same moving average. So I would want to see this 9-day moving average get into the 442.72 level. But 442.75 is where we could see the gap get filled on SPY. As far as the Qs are concerned, no, it broke up. I can hear if I can hear it better on TikTok. You can hear me better on TikTok?
CLAR, Claris Corporation, giving some Q3 guidance and raising its fiscal year guidance. Its ticker Charlie Lima Alpha Romeo. CLAR.
Okay, so as far as the Qs are concerned, still actually looking pretty good. Same setup as SPY, just a different look to it. You have a break and downtrend happening here. You can go to the 4-hour and clean that up. That's where we do the cleaning up of the charts. So for the Qs, I would expect a retest of this downtrend, and that could come at 365.85. That's also where the 200-day EMA is. So if we do see a pullback, that's where I would be watching it. And I think, well, I don't think, but anywhere above 369, 370, we should see a move up here to this next step up, which is 474, 473 area. So, and that's we are also it's worth mentioning that on this 4-hour time frame, or excuse me, it doesn't matter what time frame, but we are seeing declining volume. So we're seeing lower volume as we make higher highs. I don't like pumping on low volume. So we'll see how we perform today. And I think today is going to be a really pivotal day as far as where we see the market going for the rest of the week. So, and into earnings season. So, oh, good morning, but what's that voice that comes out of the robot? And do we have to pay for the service? That is a service outside of myself. Yes, this is Benzinga Pro. This is what I use on a daily basis for my scanner, for my news, for uh, option flow, everything. It's kind of like my handy all-in-one tool. The link is in the bio for that one. Um, of course, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate that. 80 in the chat. Come on. Thank you guys for leaving likes on YouTube and on TikTok here. I do appreciate it. But the monthly, there's different plans for Benzinga, but you can do the spooky 35 all caps. That's the discount code. But you also can literally do the free 2 week trial. So if you hit the link in my bio, you can do a 2 week trial using just your phone number. So give that a shot. Hit the link in my bio if you're on TikTok, and give that a shot. It is definitely worth it, and I think it's worth it just to try out the for anybody. I think that just seeing how you perform, having that news there, and knowing like what the tools are used for, it's a really good platform for people who are, even if you're not trading and you just want good news that's rather unbiased. That's actually probably one of my favorite things about it. So okay, I was just reading Manny's message there. Good morning, Roxana. And thank you, Daniel. I appreciate it. That's nice. What about the um s- no, it's just in the the Benzinga Pro discount. So um yeah, guys, I'm not if you're on TikTok, guys, I hate to bum you out, but I'm not going to do any analysis on Square. Fami just got news. I tweeted out. I'm tweeting out all of this news. If Shiba goes to $1,000, I'm pretty sure the world will collapse. Our monetary system will crumble, and we'll soon be eating chocolate Dogecoins for lunch, breakfast, and dinner. Um, so I'd rather not. Amazon going down on the news. What news? What's the news? I need a better. What is the news? So Amazon. The possible. Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry. Totally forgot about that. So Amazon, I would say, look at where the 200-day EMA is right now. You've got two levels to watch. So watch 3375. Below that, watch 3360. That's the 200-day EMA. Amazon goes to court all the time. So sorry, I kind of forgot what you're talking about. You just read? No, I'm about to go over my watch list. I'm not trading live on Discord or on YouTube today though. Everything is in the Discord this week's going to be mainly focused on people in the Discord answering questions, and I can't have too much noise outside of that, and I also don't want to miss your guys' messages. So, but more or less, we're just focused on the Discord. So if you guys want to tune in tonight, we will be live again, probably around 8 o'clock, 8:15 Eastern time to do charting and stuff like that. More answer whatever questions you guys have. So, okay, so OCGN is also moving here in pre-market. This one going for the gap fill. So on the 4 hour chart, you have a gap fill here to 866. It looks like here in pre-market that is happening right now. You've already moved up, bounced off of this level here. So once you fill that gap, that's the moment of truth that you already have broken a small time frame downtrend. So just throwing that out for you guys. And with that, I want to go ahead and go over my watch list today. So there's a couple of different tickers that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. There was Baba. With a relatively good setup, we have Baba here, and I'll go ahead and full screen this rather than do it this way. But if you take a look at Baba here, and you go to the daily time frame, you'll see that BABA has a pretty nice deviation channel. And this linear regression line, right? So that's just a fancy line or a fancy name for the middle of the channel. All right. So it's the middle of the channel. And these two lines outside of it are going to be your deviation channels. Now, what you have here is you have a daily flag. You also have the 9-day moving average creeping up. You still have room on the RSI to continue moving to the upside. The MACD is pretty flat. So it could kind of either go both ways. You can crest over and start pulling back, or you can sit in range, hold the flag, and potentially go and hit resistance. I have seen a consistency with that resistance respect, and as we approach this resistance, this is all fueled by the fact that Biden is going to be talking to the Chinese president. So that's big news as well. Um, that we could look forward to that is likely going to continue moving the stock as it gets closer. It's possibly going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news type thing. Um, all that being said, I am watching BABA here, and it looks like in pre-market, so not bad. So this is actually really good. I really prefer to see stocks in pre-market holding and not gapping up. So I really don't like gaps. I would say that this is probably the setup to watch for BABA right here out of this little pennant type pennant right here. So you see Baba pennant. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a entry mark right here above this high. That's 169.55, and I'm gonna be watching that level. That's possibly where I might take my first starter position, and then of course above the previous day's high of 172, I may end up taking this for a day trade. Now, I also may add to this with a speculative run up to, right? Now, the timing of this has everything to do with the target, but I would say 185 is possibly a good target to look at to the upside. There is a plethora of gaps above that. And so if we do continue to run, that's where I'll be watching. Now, on top, now, due to the really tight range of BABA, there is a good chance that this, because pennants tend to be bilateral, there's a good chance that you can see this one go either way. So with that being said, when it does break trend, I'm going to be watching the 165.60 and basically the break of 165. And that one should go and move to the downside with the first immediate target of 162.60. So that's BABA. Microsoft. Now, Microsoft has a pretty good setup here. As far as oh my God, what happened here? Yeah, trading you. Shoot you in the foot. All right, so regression channel here. Okay, we've already talked about this setup. So using our regression channel, right, and extending it a little bit. Let me do this really quick because there's too many colors here. All right, so now that we verified that, let's go ahead and draw our channel. I need to fix it. Okay, so get that nice and clean. Perfect. Okay, so based on the regression channel, you guys know I love this channel. You can see we are slap up against, or right up against our resistance. Now, I think that it's going to make a clean break for it. Now, based off of the angle, right, we can go ahead and say, I can expect at least in the next couple of days, you are running into earnings, okay? And I will be honest with you, there is a good chance that if we break to the upside, that more than likely will be priced in on earnings and could expect a pullback. That we've been in this channel here since the drop of COVID, so we could definitely see continuation to the upside as we run into earnings. But all that being said, this mark of 305.75 is where I'm going to be looking for a break to the upside. Now, of course, anytime you have a higher time frame break of a resistance, oftentimes you will retest. So you're possibly going to retest Microsoft's resistance. So possibly a break up into the 308s. We'll watch for that pullback. Can only see a pullback coming by reacting to the stock and looking at it at those major marks. Um, uh, PC gaming, I'd love to go. I don't know if that guy just invited me, but I cannot go. This is the site for this is TradingView. The guy that you hear talking is Benzinga Pro. Both of those links are in my bio. Benzinga and TradingView both give you 2-week trials, so feel free to give those a shot. The Benzinga Pro is news, data, uh, option flow, price spikes, 52-week highs, halts, options, signals, squawk box, all that good. There's scanners. There's a lot. There's actually an insider button here. That if you guys are exploring this, there's an insider multiple insider buys, and this one was last updated at 8:57, so just a second ago, and it will actually tell you right now on CGTX Cognition Therapeutics, there's a new position, a buy at 7.8 million shares at $11.11. And that is $4.77 million worth. Wait, hold on 1 second. Okay, hold on, that makes sense for a second. Okay, so he already owns a good amount of shares. So this is actually really cool. You can see the CFOs, president and CEOs. You can see how many shares they currently hold and how many shares they are buying. So these are things that aren't necessarily, you don't have to study them, but you can go and look over and see whether you see anything worth looking at. Safe, CGTX, stocks like that, you see a lot of insider. There's penny stock buys. Right now, you see big money going into LPTV. Actually, excuse me, I apologize. SLGG Super League Gaming. There's some purchases there. There's also a ICD, IMH. So, sorry, 1 second. All right. So besides that, done ranting on that one. We Finex hot, bro. What? This is TradingView. How long have I been full time? Oh, 2.5 years, somewhere in there. That's full time. Is it stressful? I mean, yes, yes, yeah. There's elements of stress for sure. I think I've been more stressed out trying to take someone's order, um, at fast food restaurants that I worked at because I just couldn't. I like couldn't see straight back then, but I'm at work waiting for the day, just like anxiety and stuff like that. Um, do we need paying member? Yeah. So I mean, we do have a premium Discord, Brian. So it's up to you whether or not you want to. There's a free trial, so you can check it out, but there's no pressure. And especially if you're new, I don't want anybody making rush decisions just because they think they're going to miss out. You're not missing out on anything that's going to be happening that'll never happen again. So we do this every week, so take your time. But yeah, throwing my hard hat at the general foreman to say adios amigo. Once it clicks, it clicks. So you'll get it, Daniel. Keep pushing, brother. um Okay, so anyway, Microsoft here, looking for that break over the previous high, 305.55 here in pre-market. It does look like you're kind of uh maybe looking at a little bit of a pullback or even just a accumulation. I'm looking at this super clean as far as a support. So I'm looking at this as a potential place to bounce into. So we'll see and determine based on price action. I need to see a candle close above 304.50 so that we can go take a crack at that 305. Now when this thing shoots up, shut it. When you see this thing shoot to the upside, right? Don't get don't go and like enter a crazy ham position to the upside before you get that definitive break. Just like I tell you guys to not buy or not short supports because you don't know whether or not you're going to get a bounce. Stop trying to buy resistance because you need to get a confirmed break. And oftentimes when you break out, you'll simply pull back for a retest. So um Yeah, you guys can sign up via the website for the free trial. The link is below. The link is in my bio. And you guys are more than welcome to watch the live stream on the YouTube. Yes. Um, what is Facebook doing? Oh, I have a mark at 332 on Facebook. Okay, so anyway, let's keep it moving here. We got it's 9 o'clock. SQ is also one that I have my eyes peeled on at the moment. I was kind of eyeballing this one, and oftentimes I've seen this because it's really fun. Twitter has the same exact setup as Square does almost. So pulling this up, right? Yeah, that's it. So look at my whole moving average right here. You can see it's lined up perfectly with my support. So right now, with Square, we rejected in pre-market this mark, and you also saw in aftermarket that Square shot up off of Bitcoin news. Now it's since pulled back, but while pulling back, executed a retest. Remember, when you break a level, oftentimes you will retest, and you don't always know what that's going to look like. Now, in this case, you actually tap the almost that 200. You do retest the 50. So I'll be watching Square initially to pop back above the 249.75 mark. That's the hourly.
CNI, TCI releases strategic plan to put CN back on track and highlights case for change at the company. That's Charlie November India. CNI,
Falling wedge. Where do you see the falling wedge?
CLEU, China Liberal Education, provides update on Chinese central authorities, issued opinions on promoting the high quality development of modern vocational education.
Yes.
Charlie Lima Echo Uniform,
Spit it out, Charlie. They got me.
CLEU,
Okay, so of course, 251 or excuse me,
EIQ, Elite Education,
251.35 is where I'm watching SQ. Remember, SQ, like Manny is watching and I am watching as well, has a gap to fill starting at 255, ending at 257.37. Between now and then, there's plenty of profit margin to be had in this on this play. So I am watching Square today to see if we can set up to run into that gap tomorrow. But we'll see if we hold this range or break to the upside. SPWR. So of course, you guys know that we've been watching this one a lot. It was moving up on the S&P inclusion. I've been eyeballing this one for a bounce back. I think we may get one. And by gapping down, I love it. The reason why I love it is because we leave a gap above us that has to go get filled to the upside. That will bring us to our downtrend. So our downtrend starting off the high is where I'm going to be looking for this to break. That's going to be a clean break at 27.65. That's where we're going to be first watching it. When you guys hear me give out these marks, these are good times to set alerts. Left, right click. I've been doing that since I was a kid. Left click, right click. I know my left and right, but the mouse just throws off my whole world. So $28. $28, and I think we go to 30. That's only if we get a good strong break and downtrend and pop up to the upside on that one. So and that one's the momentum is coming off of the S&P inclusion. So fuel cell is one that you've got everybody and their mother watching. So this one is only momentum, and I will warn you guys that of course it's not one that we're going to be holding indefinitely. Right now, it's currently making a rising wedge setup on the hourly. So you can see right here, this is a rising wedge. Oftentimes, these are going to be reversal patterns. So as you can see right here, you're already rejecting, and it looks like you're going to fall back to the downside. I will also mention that a lot of, there are such things as FOMO patterns. This is a FOMO pattern. Why is it a FOMO pattern? Because someone's playing this to the upside, and you have to open up a wide base for a rising wedge. a rising wedge to form. So you see that big first initial pullback, the dip, people panic sell, and then it bounces immediately. A lot of people will go back and they'll buy it again or FOMO back in. Then shoots up to the upside and immediately losing almost 50% of that initial pop. And again, a strong pop. So people panic sell, you get another pop to the upside here, and the often fueled by high frequency trading. But this right here is kind of the moment of truth as you've tapped this resistance 3 times and are heading for your third touch. So fuel cell 765, you could see a pullback about now. The important thing to remember about wedges is I usually track them for a retracement of 65% or more. So that means from the top, make it drop. I'm just sorry. I almost started. I'm gonna stop. But from the top, you're going to basically look at the percentage mark from there on a reversal to the downside, and that usually is around 65%. Sorry, guys, I'm a child sometimes. Guys of steel. Um, Cody, Cody with the thanks, dude. So I'll go ahead and chart it for you guys. You guys know I hate that this is happening and people are still left holding the bag on CEI, but it does appear at the moment that you could be forming some type of wedge. It's a little bit too early to tell, but just look at the volume. The volume is slowly but surely returning to normal. And with that, the momentum and volatility is gone. And that is what you needed to move to the upside. You see that all major indicators are pointing down. Your HMA is pointing down. Your moving averages are pointing down, all on that higher time frame. So with that being said, I only see this thing making quick retracements. So you may see this thing pop up to like 175, but that's some WAP. There you go. I get like TikTok inserts like earbuds um into my brain, and then some of the things that I say, I just can't help it. You just yeah, just happens. So anyway, see, there's nothing really the technical. You did break downtrend, like there's a downtrend here, but it's not worth like looking at it as another squeeze to the upside until you start to see the same momentum that drove it to the upside return. And unfortunately, that would be caused by somebody tweeting about it. I'm not going to name any names, but um do I think that SPY plug? Speaking of, guys, I know you guys I know I actually, I know I've told a couple of you guys this, but I've actually had people due to my analysis, will like send me hateful messages because they think that I'm trying to like make the stock go down or like I'm shorting it. I'm not shorting plug. I gave you guys, I think last week, before this even happened, before you gapped up, I literally said, well, plug either holds this support or goes and fills its gap all the way to the downside. And so I was betting downside, and that's what you're seeing right now. You are in the gap. The gap gets filled at 29.85. So well, I guess technically at 25.65, but yeah, so that's plug power. Still a gap to the downside on that one. And then as far as SPY filling its gap to the downside, I wish I knew whether it would. My bets are that at least if we do not move up today, I think there is a good chance that we go and fill the gap below us. Everything still looks good for continuation to the upside, but again, there is that little. Do we get to the second gap? It would probably be terrible news that sent us to the downside like that. So thanks a lot. I got that song stuck in my head. I'm sorry, buddy. Me too. Um, so, um, anyway, fuel cell Macy's. So Macy's is also on the watch list for continuation to the upside. So far, Macy's does on this 15-minute time frame does look like it's setting up a little bit of a flag. I'm watching this one to reject the gap. So we made it into the gap and we are holding the gap, right? So you can see this line, this bottom mark right here. We are holding the gap. So it's the very same resistance that we're looking to break, and that one's going to be 24.22. The gap gets filled at 20, I think it's 25. Hold on a second. Okay, so the gap is going to get filled here on the daily to the upside at 24.77. And then based off of the resistance that I have, I'm looking at this one to go potentially to $26. So, sorry about that. If I missed you guys' messages. Thank you guys for the likes. NASDAQ does look bullish. All right. So there's also Sony. I'll go ahead and give you guys an update on Sony. Sony's
RBLK, robotics, and 8K filing out on Romeo Whiskey Lima Kilo.
okay. So this one is up against its 500 HMA. That's a big time resistance. But if you see here, in pre-market, let's see, that's 113. So in pre-market, it looks like we have gapped down. So that is actually, and I was talking about this earlier. This is one that it could be a tough one to wrangle until we figure out where its trend is at. At the moment, it does look like it's pulling back to go. It doesn't really fill gaps, but it is inside of its gap. So I would watch for Sony bounce at 106.72. If it can get back above or into the 112 price range, we may watch this one for another leg up. Right now, not looking super hot, but it has given itself more room by pulling back. So gap downs oftentimes can be bullish. You did gap down again to your right around your 9-day moving average. So seeing a bounce isn't outside the question on Sony, but this one is more for a swing. Netflix is set to raise almost $900 million from Squid Games. And all that being said, here in pre-market, let me go look. So going over this setup here on Netflix, this is the downtrend break that we had, right? So we had this little flag set up here inside of this rising channel. And all that being said, I am watching to see if Netflix is going to wedge out, right? So sometimes when there's no volume, you'll re-wedge, right? So you'll almost break up and then fall back down and retest it and then use that same downtrend to consolidate on until you either go hit a support that you like to bounce off of, or just break that resistance and move to the upside. Apple does have an event today. So for me, watch Netflix especially above 640, but right now I'm going to be watching it above 635 for a move up to 638.50, which is the hourly HMA and the previous resistance at 639. Above 639, 640. Again, I'm going to be watching this Netflix play to pop up and hit this channel resistance if I am correct. I've kind of double checked myself a couple times to see, and this is a trend that looks as if it is establishing itself at the moment. So it's literally building the trend, and I'm trying to find it. So that's Netflix right there. So basically, just to map this out for you guys and make it a little bit cleaner, I'm watching Tesla for a potential either a support bounce and leg up, or just a trade flat, right? So, and then a move to the upside that way. So that's crazy movement. Box. I saw you ask me that. Sorry about that. I actually have Box L already charted. This is really weird. So this one looks like it's going to go down. It does have, I guess that's not even a gap, but anywhere below $2, you've got another support retest at 185, 183. But it does appear that you are rejecting. I don't know what it looks like here in pre-market. But it does look like you did get a rejection off of that major mark. So I don't really see much liquidity here either. This is not a stock that I would probably buy. I don't know anything about. I'd have to go look at the fundamentals for me to buy that. So I also think it's worth mentioning PayPal. It's not necessarily on top of my watch list, but it is one that oh, are you? Nice. That's pretty cool, Snake. So PayPal has a falling wedge here on the daily. This is a little bit of a news type correction candle. Watching PayPal above 272.50. 272.50. WTRH receiving a pop here now in pre-market just a little bit. Watch this one. I might actually go ahead and just get some speculative shares here, as it is making kind of that little illiquid curl. But just give me 1 second here. Sorry you guys if I've missed a 1 second. If I've missed any of your requests on TikTok, I'm taking those on YouTube here. But I am not trading live today anywhere else but our Discord. So and welcome to everybody who's new. Thank you guys again. Our YouTube stream or our YouTube channel is now, if I'm not mistaken, we are somewhere near 5,500 subscribers here on YouTube, and I really appreciate you guys supporting our channel, supporting the TikTok, and all that good stuff. So thank you guys. That's pretty cool. Getting close to 6,000 subscribers. Maybe one day we'll hit 10,000. Probably if I make those if I started doing the weird like faces or like the weird poses with the picture and the greens, like then my videos would get way more views, but I haven't crossed that bridge yet. You would think I would, but all right, 1 second here. Okay, also I wanted to mention this as well. So I have $200 in my Webull account that is just sitting there. And I have it written down. I'm going to try my hardest to find a play for this account specifically. So I will let you guys know if I decide to enter something. It may be equity, it may be penny stock, it may be options, but I will let you guys know if I decide to take anything on that account. Because I am exploring a couple of different potential plays to the upside when we get past. We have earnings week coming up, so October could be a good week for volatility, and maybe some day trading action. So, all right. All right, 1 second here. All right, so you guys pretty much got my watch list. For those of you on YouTube and stuff like that, Bam salute, man. I would love to stay on, man. And I appreciate you guys hanging out on the stream, but it's too much. It's too spread out. And there's a premium Discord, and for a reason. So obviously my attention is there. Um, so I apologize, man, but yeah. Um, I have to make sure that I focus in on that. So, but all last week, man, we had a pretty good week last week and this week's or the week before that. So, alrighty. Well, if you guys have any, I know we saw Amazon as a potential request stock here. So, let's see. By the way, what a play on Friday. Oh my God. That was amazing. So what we did, these fingers. So I think the goal here for Amazon, you got a huge bounce off of that 200-day EMA. The goal for Amazon is gonna be to get above 34.30. that is a gap. There's a gap there that closes at 34.50. And I think that's what Amazon is going to be shooting for. Everything on the indicators looks pretty good to move to the upside. You did gap down. Watch for a bounce on Amazon at 33.84. Below that, 33.75, and then potentially going for the little tiny gap fill above you for a break-in high. So, and Manny's letting everybody know to be patient. Get remember, the patient get paid, and the inpatient pays the patient. So so it sounds funny coming out, but it makes a lot of sense. So in today, again, just to recap, I'm all Roman, dude. I'm all over it. I'm with you on Netflix, dude. You let me know if you get in. Let me know, dude. And if I get in, I'll let you know too. That thing's gonna. I think that thing rips. And then I think it dumps on earnings. But okay, so just to give you guys a climate, just really quickly, and I'll check out the cat chart really quick. Economic calendar. Remember we talked about it. We do have high impact data at 9:15. So we actually already have that data here. But did SPY respond? Did SPY respond? What did SPY do? Oops. Or the Dow. No response there. No response there. So we'll see how we open up and if that data ends up impacting us. Okay. I need to go ahead and split my screen. Anyway, guys, remember we do have economic data that we have today. That's already passed. We'll see how the market responds to it. We also have a lack of earnings this week. So again, going to be easing into my positions. It's Monday. All right. I think last Monday I actually had a red start to the day. And reflecting on that is probably a lack of patience as well. And that the climate last week was a little bit more rough. So anyway, deep breath. Remember to breathe. Remember that you're a human. Remember your risk management. Remember, if you don't have a plan or you don't have an entry and an exit set, you are unprepared and you will have anxiety. You will have anxiety, even if it's just a simple, I like this mark as a place to get out. I like this mark as a place to get in. Here's my profits. There we go. And that all has to do with your style. Obviously, if you're new, the closer your expiration is, the higher the anxiety will be. So obviously urge you guys to keep that in mind. Really quick, we'll go ahead and look at cat, and then I'm going to go ahead and you still have FOMO. Yeah, I appreciate you guys on the stream, and I try and just make sure that I give the people in the Discord the priority pass, I guess. um, all right, so Caterpillar. I think I had a downtrend on this one, correct? But I will see you guys tonight. If you guys are on Discord or on YouTube right now, I will see you guys tonight, 8:15, post market. So be sure to hop in there, and we'll take a look at these charts after the close. So overall, Cat has a falling wedge. Cat broke out of that falling wedge. I think we could see some data coming in this week that actually spurs movement on Cat right now, but you are pulling back. And with that being said, the first bounce level is 197.75, and then below that 197 even. So you're going to want to bounce off of either one of those and then make your way to the upside off of that. So, but anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I got to go prepare myself. I got to go to the restroom, get a drink of water. And I'll see you guys in just a little bit. So thank you guys so much. I do appreciate you guys, as always, hanging out with us, and we will see you guys tomorrow morning or tonight or tomorrow night. No, I'll see you tonight. Yes, that's all. I'm sorry, my brain just broke for a millisecond. So all right, guys, thank you. Peace.